Hello?
Hi, is this Lori?
Yes, it is. How are
Hi,
you?
how are you, Lori? I got
Oh,
conversations with Val and Sal. We have Lori on the line. I'm going to go ahead and try to get this show started, and you guys
very
have a
good.
wonderful evening.
You won't have to see like, know just what it feels like. Come over and dance with me. Oh, baby. Yeah. Won't you come over and dance with me? Come over and dance with me. Come over and dance with me. Oh, baby. I see you over there sitting in the corner. Eyes on me looking like you wanna come and dance with me. Why don't you come and dance with me? My eyes on you.
Man, welcome back to Conversations with Val and Sal. We are live in the studio once again. I'm your host, L.A. Jackson. I've got my co-host, Miss
LJ Johnson, how are you, my friend and
baby
co-host?
girl. We've been missing you. We had to post pictures up around the studio just to keep you around here, girl.
Wow, it's so good to be missed and loved. That's just a wonderful feeling.
Well, we certainly do. Well, listen, we've got some special guests, as always, in the building today. I've got my good friend from days gone by. I think we're pushing on 10, if not 15 years. I got this guy. I don't even know where to start with him. I knew of him like right after the So Deaf days that he was the creative services director there, but his resume is just so elongated. I'm just going to have to let him talk about it, but his name is Sir Rod Patterson. Let me just do a little clap right now. I have to applaud you because you've been working that Sounds of Knowledge. LJ, I don't know if I told you, but he put together the Sounds of Knowledge, and it goes to, he doesn't hit one or two schools. He hits a lot of schools, man. Go on and expand on that, Sir Rod.
All right, the Sounds of Knowledge is a school touring. I changed that this year. I don't want to say it's just a school touring company. We're a school touring and marketing company. We go into high school, middle schools, and elementary schools, and we use music to get kids' attention. Mm-hmm. And once we have their attention, we hit them with anti-bullying, anti-drugs, positive messages to the student body. And it's something desperately needed. At one point, we even have, between my touring companies and our messages, we actually stopped some kids from committing suicide.
Nice. Very
and
effective. Yes.
You never know who's hurting out there or who's listening. And like LA said, last year I did like 75 schools. This year I've done 30 schools in February, and I'm scheduled to do probably another 30, 40 before the year is up. Mm. And we're planning for 2014. We're doing I'm calling it a 100 school tour. And then we're going to do several of those next year because we're just growing and expanding. And right now we're doing a national talent search, looking for artists to put on these tours.
Is that the demo line aspect?
It's basically the same thing, same principle.
Okay.
We closed demo line down.
Oh, man.
No,
that's been around so long, man.
Yeah,
when did you do that?
Because when I first got the idea of demoline.net, basically it was an online demo tape. People don't even know what a demo tape is now.
Wow, yeah. Really.
Back in the day, I thought it would be neat, instead of artists mailing all those packets to, we got 400 or 500 a month at So Deaf. I thought it'd be it was such a waste. Mm-hmm. What if they could put all that information online and then just email somebody a link and they could check them out, and if they were interested. Okay. Well, I was ahead of my time. That was like 98, 99.
Was the late 90s.
Right. And
I was so jealous because this guy was taking advantage of the internet way back then, and I was still trying to grasp the understanding of it. And this guy's making moves on it already.
I was in the art field, and so I had to work on the computer, so just kind of just gravitated to it. Man. But anyway, I started the Sounds of Knowledge after my first touring company. Remember I said I was part owner of a company in Florida called DSA. And we started with a $20,000 investment. In a year and a half, DSA grossed $1.2 million doing school tours.
That's cool. Can I do one?
Yeah, I know.
Take me with you when you go.
I say part owner because I was the talent coordinator, and I brought the $1 million acts in, but all the money was shipped to Florida.
Oh, wow.
And it was misread. It was mismanaged and misspent money. And so we brought in 1.2, but they spent 1.5.
Oh, wow.
When it finally
Very
folded,
black of them.
but they were all three. It was my owners were white.
What?
Yeah, it was.
Well, it's mighty white of you.
I was the only minority.
Let me tell you, I stand corrected.
I was the only minority. I thought the money was safe.
Because the reason I said that anyway in the first place was that, and I hate to, well, I don't hate, but I'm referring back to Musicology 2101. There was a story in there where CBS Records paid a lot of money to Philly International for some masters, and they put them out and released them, distributed, did very well. So now they wanted to do that again with another label, and Stax Records came about. So they went down to Memphis, or Stax came up to New York. They gave them, I don't know, $5, $6, $7 million to basically do what they did with Philly International, and the hits never came. No records ever came, and they waited and waited for months, and then they sent some of their big shots from Columbia Records down to Memphis to find out what went down. And when the guy came to Memphis, when the guys came to Memphis, there was a parking lot full of Lincoln Continentals, but no recording was getting done.
Oh, so but that was Isaac Hayes.
Isaac Hayes, yeah. I forget Booker T and the MGs, all of those cats, man. And everybody was just sitting around.
So they partied away the money.
Yeah. And that was mismanagement. So that's why I thought it was just a whole nother situation like that.
Well, I told you, after the company folded, I ended up with the sound equipment. And after I licked my wounds, just because I knew we were doing a good thing. And remember I said my business partners were all white. And they tried to avoid going to black schools. And it wasn't a black or white thing, it was a green thing. They just knew they couldn't make the same amount of money in the black schools. Right. And I always thought that was a shame because our kids, our students,
don't they deserve to know?
They needed to know about bullying and somebody care. And so I took a year off just figuring out a way that we could deliver the program on that same level to our students and the whites, but our students particularly. I designed a show for us, and also be able to make it free or almost close to free. And so I came up with the formula, and then in 2005 I launched The Sounds of Knowledge, which is my company now. And I've been grinding and perfecting it ever since, and now I think we're ready for the big time.
Man, I can't wait. I mean, if you did that in 2005, I can't. I'm starting to get really excited because in 2 years you're going to be celebrating your 10-year anniversary.
That's right.
And I know you're going to be doing something big.
They say it takes about 7 years before you can turn a company around, and they are so right. And the last 3 years have been profitable.
Good.
The first ones was.
Now, do you? Is it a possibility of you having more than one unit go out at a time, or is it just a one-man operation, or do you have, like, say, 2 or 3 teams of people to go cover these schools?
That's what I was part of the development process, was developing a system, and where you can have a team go out, a road manager and a few artists,
right,
and keeping the overhead down, where you can keep, instead of having 10 hotel rooms, you can have 1 or 2 hotels rooms, and it keeps your overhead down. And it was the little logistic things that made all the difference. Because the first touring company, they were spending close to $6,000 a week out there, and
they were making the money go away pretty. I mean, where were you getting? Where were you all getting the money from? Was you charging admission to the students, or was it a agreement that was made with the school systems that you were going to? I mean, how did that work?
It was several different ways to generate income, but the main way DSA was doing it, the first touring company.
Right.
They would go in and do a free show to the school. It's a teaser show, if you will.
Yeah.
And they would do a lot of skits and comedy and basically just eat up a lot of time and then do bits and pieces of song, never a whole song.
Right.
And then also you have to have like a boy band, some real cute little boys and guys come in there and little girls scream, Backstreet kind of thing.
Instincts.
Yeah, exactly.
I got it. Well, you go ahead.
So that program was free, and then we talked to the kids about bullying or power of choice, and but the school only could get that free show if they would basically give us their gym that following night, and then we would invite the kids to a paid concert. $10 in advance, $12 at the door, and they would get 200 or 300 kids back every night, and they were out for 10 months.
And that was actually that was very good.
Oh, they were getting it. Sometimes we would get 400 or 500 kids, and if we were doing so well, we ended up putting 2 Backstreets out, and we were having $20,000 weeks.
Oh, I need to have one of those.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That would kind of
for
really
a free
help me
show.
out. Yeah, I mean, actually, yeah, that is pretty good.
Yeah, and we're positioned to start and do the same thing again, but for our students, and really reach out and not so much focusing on the money. I think the money is just a tool to kind of help us get to just keep getting the message out.
But I before we came on air, I looked at a video that you had where you had the children come out, and it was I think you did a James Brown and a Michael Jackson impression.
About my one-man show.
Yeah, and that was phenomenal because you got children that are singing songs that were out like probably before their parents were born.
Yep.
That's
the James
phenomenal.
Brown, the Temptations. The one-man show was developed when I started Sounds of Knowledge. I tried to go under the old formula DSA, and I tried to bring artists out with me.
Right.
But the shows or the tours were so sporadic. A week here, then off for a month, 2 weeks here, and then off for another month. And then, long story short, I couldn't, by the time we get to the next tour, the artist had a job, and he couldn't quit his job or whatever. So
Right.
I had one artist tell me, I got a school here in Atlanta, and it was like a last-minute thing, and I asked him and begged him to come out and do the show.
Right.
And he said he couldn't do it because he had to do his laundry. I know, you're dealing with that.
Yeah.
He had to do his laundry. So anyway, I went and did the James Brown and the Michael Jackson, the Temptations,
Yeah.
and the kids loved it, and that was the beginning of my one-man show. And so
Because the show must go on.
show must go on. And I used the one-man show basically to brand the company,
Right.
let the schools know that when the schools hear Sounds of Knowledge, I want them to get a warm, fuzzy feeling and know
Right.
that it's safe, like Disney.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing for the last few years.
That's incredible.
In fact, it probably has to be mirroring or close to Disney,
Yes.
since Disney is
I
so very family friendly.
Yeah.
I scrutinize every song. Most of the songs on the radio can't be played in the schools. You would think because there's no cussing, but it's just the content or the explicit stuff.
Yeah.
So I have to. It's hard finding music, but I find the music, and it's a friendly show. The schools love it, and it's not nothing cheesy either. It's nothing cheesy. Like I said, the kids love it. Our kids, and when I do the same show, I never switch my show. If I go to a white school,
Okay.
I do the same music,
Same show.
and
Now,
they
that's
sing
incredible.
the same hip hop song, whether I'm in
Same
Kentucky
overall
or
feeling.
Mississippi,
Same thing.
and they talk just like this right here, but they knew all the songs.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, that is. Now, I remember some years ago, Soulja Boy's record. I don't remember what the name of it is, but I got a copy of the version that was like the explicit version.
Mm-hmm.
So one day I go over to my sister's house, and my nephew's daughter is listening to the explicit version, and I told my nephew, "See what she's listening to." And she did not like it because he took her MP3 player away from her and deleted that song.
Yeah.
So a lot of times the kids are listening. We don't monitor what the kids listen to simply because we hear them bouncing. But then
Right.
at the same time, a lot of the parents you know, I hear the profanity coming and the kids in the back seat just bouncing.
You would be amazed.
Yeah.
I've learned along the way, like, we can't. At one point, I thought maybe if I did the instrumentals, well, the kids would start singing the song at the school, or even if you edit it,
Right.
if you took the word out, the kids would yell it out loud.
Yeah, just
So
to
I
get up under your skin.
Yeah.
Well, no, they just do
They
it.
just did it?
Because at home it might be okay for them
Oh,
to do
okay.
it, and then
So they
you
just
have
out of habit, just
500 kids yell this cuss word, and the teacher's looking at me like it was edited. It was
Yeah.
edited, you know. So I decided, no, I have to watch the music. Period.
That's cool. Well, we've got some more music coming up in a minute, and let's see. Sounds like it's something off of the Exposure CD again, and it's a great album. This song is a reggae track called Lion Tafari, called Mia Run Tings. And check this one out.
Right. Ayaga, yeah. Okay. Me say, yes, I me run things. Me money target, I me run things. Yes, I me money want. Me money target, I me money want. Yes, I me run things. Me money target, I me run things. Yes, I me money want. Me money target, I me money want. Watch me clothes and the brand, watch me wear and the style that me got and the shits that me steer. Money is a very good thing, but me not about me money and material things. Money by the house and me a live, so me have to make the money and live the life that it a bring. I use me a style, right? It's that me got just made body, yeah. Yes, I me run things, me money target and me run things, yeah. Yes, I me money want, me money target and me money want, yeah. Yes, I me run things. Me money target, I me run things. Yes, I me money want. Me money target, I me money want. This is the style that me got. Money I fi spend and clothes I fi buy. Alright. See me house and me truck, the size of me truck. Money I spend for that. Okay. Don't know. See the money I spend. Money I bring me. Money I pay. Remember not to borrow free money, 'cause money makes a boy go run down for me. Okay. Yes, I me run things. Me money target, I me run things. Yes, I me money want. Me money target, I me money want. Yes, I me run things. Me money target, I me run things. Yes, I me money want. Me money target, I me money want. Watch me clothes and the brand, watch me wear and the style that me got and the shits that me steer. Money is a very good thing, but me not about the money and material things. Money by the house that me a live, so me have to make the money live the life that it a bring. I use me a style, right? Stop because just me body, yeah. Yes, I me run things. Me money target, I me run things, yeah. Yes, I me money want. Me money target, I me money want, yeah. Yes, I me run things. Me money target, I me run things, yeah. Yes, I me money want. Me money target, I me money want, right? Yes, I me run things. Me money target, I me run things. Yes, I me money want. Me money target, I me money want. Yes, I me run things. Me money target, I me run things. Yes, I me money want. Me money target, I me money want. Yes, I me run things. Me money target, I me run things. Yes, I me money want. Me money target, I me money want. Yes, I me run things. Me money target, I me run things.
Yeah, Lion Tafari, Mia Run Tings, man. Yes, that's my brethren there. So, and he's one of I think 4 reggae artists that's on Exposure. My cousin Andrew Bees, who's on tour right now, lead singing with Black Uhuru, and he's out in Europe. But China Nicole, who incidentally will be a guest host this week on Conversations with Val and Sal. And by the way, our subgroup name is the Hall of Fame, and we got special people like Sir Rod on board, and China Nicole. And speaking of Hall of Fames, we'll also have later on this week Full Force. I grew up with those guys back in Brooklyn. So the plan is to have Bow-Legged Lou over here in the studio, and you guys should remember, Flesh. You guys should remember Full Force from House Party and all their gonna kick your And they were the Bullies in House Party. Bow-Legged Lou Thursday. We'll have Paul Anthony Friday by phone. What's up, Chuck?
They were also in Crush Groove.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sure were. Sure were.
Bullies in Crush Groove.
Crush Groove. That's right. With the Jerry Curl dripping Bullies.
Yep. Jerry Curl Juice Jr.
And I can say that because I had a Jerry Curl for 10 years myself.
Yeah, I had one.
I was one of the first ones in St. Petersburg, Florida. And I think they got a museum or something.
Wow. Jerry Curl Museum, man. You got to have boots to get up in there, man. And also this week, we'll also have Fitzroy Francis, the powerhouse magnate behind Mighty Full 13 Records, and I met him, and my cousin Andrew Bees is signed to his label, as well as China Nicole, and they each have songs on the Exposure CD. Also, we'll have a couple of my other AV buddies, that AV meaning audio-visual, and I love to bring my audio-visual buddies on. Sometimes I think they're retired musicians, and we pull them from the musician's boneyard or something like that.
Yeah, but, I think that we are.
Yeah, I'm one, you're one, but my friend Marlon Character, great guy. We had a conversation last week, and he told me the very first day he started in the audiovisual business, he was working with me. And he told me I was the one that taught him how to wrap cable, and I don't even remember that.
He was totally green.
Yeah, totally green, and I was the first cat that was out there with. I can't even remember that, but I'll believe him if he says so. And my other buddy, other audiovisual buddy, Ray Virgin, he's a audiovisual guy, camera guy, filmmaker, and film director. He's a great guy. I'm looking forward to everybody being here, and we're also looking to have Johan Trotter, who's an MC, who incidentally has a track on the Exposure CD too, as Exposure 3 CD as well. So we're going to have a great week, and again, Bridge the Gap will be here. The people from that organization, they're just like you, Sir Rod. They're involved with schools and teaching kids and using music and hip-hop to teach kids. So it's a lot of stuff going on and reaching out to schools and trying to get things going with schools and the children and education and bridging the gap between music and education.
Now, how receptive? I know the children are very receptive to the music, but do you elaborate anything to them about, because a lot of them are very perceptive. Do you elaborate to them that it takes a lot of work to make their dreams happen, regardless if it's going to be music or whatever they're going to be into? It has, it does take a lot of work if they're going to be good.
Oh yeah, nothing. I think I say it in my book, persistence. Yeah. Persistence alone is omnipotent. Mm-hmm. And I speak to the kids about a lot of different things. We talked about the African drum. During Black History Month, we go into, you'll be amazed how little black and white students know about black history.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I ask them questions like, how long slavery last? I get answers like 10 years, 2 years. Some will be out on the limb and say 50 or 100 years. Wow. Yeah. And when I tell them it was 400 years, they're blown away.
Wow.
Now that's something simple. You would think it's in a school book somewhere.
They put it out. They never put it in.
Not well. In Texas, they're removing slavery out of the school books, out of that dialogue, and they're saying like that
it didn't exist.
Well, no, they came here to work
involuntarily.
So I mean, that's the thing is that.
But that could be applied to some McDonald's job.
Yeah, but the history of slavery is too painful to some, and then you have some that don't want to remember, because of fear of the retribution that may or may not happen from the people who were victimized during slavery. But regardless to whatever the outcome is, history, people have to know their history. So if you take children at, Jewish children, for example, they know about the concentration camps.
Oh yeah.
Because it's required.
And what was that thing called again? That big extermination of Jews.
Oh, the Holocaust.
The Holocaust. That's right.
Yeah. But theirs was what, 3, 4, 5 years. Ours was in excess of 400, and it's sort of like still going on now.
So would you say more black people got killed during that whole process, since it covered a lot more years? And,
you're looking at a lot of people died coming over here because a lot of them were thrown off the...
I saw that in Armistead, off the boat.
Yeah.
But it was a different mentality. We were more like cattle or more property.
Yeah.
And I put a new spin on it. I let the white kids know that slavery not only hurt blacks, it also hurt whites. And I would go on and explain to them. I said, give me a famous African American that you look up to. Michael Jordan, Will Smith, Venus Serena, and they'll raise white kids give me all these different names. I say, they'll say Michael Jackson. And I say, okay, those are good names. I say, now remember, I said slavery lasted for 400 years. I said, now just think, how many Michael Jacksons, how many Will Smiths or Oprahs or whoever were born within those 400 years that we'll never know about because of slavery.
Never.
Now, and I say that's just entertainment and sports and that kind of thing. I said, anybody ever lost anybody to cancer? And they'll raise their hand. I have. I said, think of how many scientists, how many doctors. It might have been somebody that had the cure to cancer. Might have been born within those 400 years that we'll never know about because of slavery. So that's why I say slavery not only hurt blacks, it hurt whites as well.
Yeah.
And so then I have this gift of being able to break down things for kids to digest. And I hope it stick in their head. And so I'm trying to do my little part.
That's good, man, and we applaud you for it, man. I tell you what, if it wasn't for people like you, people like Emil Little and KO over at Bridge the Gap, and
shout out to JB, James Barlow.
Oh, James, he's going to be a guest over here soon. He's a good friend of ours, another AV buddy, and he's been in the game since like the 60s or something like that.
Yeah, he's one of the ancient ones.
Yeah, but he's going around the schools teaching. He pulled me in earlier this year to go to a school. I can't remember the name of the school right now, but they had a career day over there, and we went over. We set up a camera, computer, monitor, mics, and we just showed them how the whole system works. And it was just really. And these kids, we were in the hood. Okay, these kids would not shut up. But I was prepared to go to war. As a matter of fact, one girl tried me a couple times, and so Mr. L.A. Jackson, and the whole neck was just wiggling, and I was like, oh no, she didn't go there. But yeah, we had fun, and they actually did quiet down and got interested in listening to what we were saying, and I think maybe 3 or 4 kids even did some performing for me and singing because I told them about our record label, me and Wade Jones with Peak City Records, and I got a song, and I was like, let me hear it, and they got up and they weren't shy about it, man. I was very impressed.
Wow.
So tell us about these YouTube videos and stuff. You've got a lot of videos on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I use YouTube to basically attract artists and to basically communicate what I'm doing to schools or producers or whoever want to get involved. And it's been working for years, but I got one that's kind of off subject.
Oh, okay.
I got one YouTube video. My biggest, most viewed video is it's called "What Does 333 Mean?" and I got like 15,000 views on it.
Wow.
And
I see you've got the 333 chain around your.
I put that video up because I kept getting asked a million times why I wear this chain with these numbers on it, and I decided to put the video up so I didn't have to give people the long, drawn-out story about the necklace. But anyway, it took me like 6 years to figure it out. And long story short, 333 is basically God's number. And that number I used to see it everywhere, waking up at 3:33 a.m.
Wow.
On car tags. It was a hotel I was working at after a long time of unemployment. which led me to Atlanta. The address was 333 First Street South. And so anyway, I wrote this book called 333 and Me, a numbers trip. It's already out. It was my first book.
Wow, okay.
It was my first book.
Okay.
And I had number seers, I call them, all around the world. Australia, Italy, Israel. And these people want me to come around and talk about these numbers. But it's on Amazon, and it also tells the Michael Jackson story.
Oh, wow, nice.
I was the third child, and my mother was the third
That's
child.
funny. I was the second child. My number's two, by the way. I was born on September 2nd, 1962.
Everybody has a number.
You got a number, Chuck?
Yeah, I was the third child.
Uh-oh. So that's on your side, Chuck. Man, that's incredible.
I mean, I just actually really just thought about it. It was me, my brother who was passed away, and my older sister.
Yep.
Man,
I had two
third
brothers
child.
pass away. Two kids died before I was born.
Wow.
Then I was the third.
Wow.
And then my sister came. It was the fourth.
So your purpose here was for a
specific reason. And that book you got, man, I mean, again, congratulations on the book. And what else you got coming out of,
Basically, we got a new push. The new book, The Commandments of the Stage, is on Amazon.
Okay, we'll look out for that.
And we got a school tour coming to a city near you. Just go to the website, soundsofknowledge.com.
And that's with Music Unite, so you're going to be doing some things with these organizations. Yes. Music Unite.
Colleges.
Atlanta Music Project, all kinds of stuff. So
yes,
we'll watch out for all that stuff, man. Hey, listen, we are running out of time, but look, we got to come back and finish our story, Sarad. Man, we're going to spread it out, and let me leave you before we go with my famous last words. Remember, God needs us all to do something good for Him, but first we have to do something good for ourselves. Stay blessed, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Conversations with Val and Sal.
All right.
One that God's envy. Come closer, grind slowly while you're near me. You won't have to see like, know just what it feel like. Come over and dance with me. You better keep your eyes stuck on me. Stuck on me, 'cause I want you. You better keep your eyes stuck on me. Eyes stuck on me. You better keep your eyes stuck on me, 'cause I want you. You better keep your playing reggae. I slow wind until wine to the beat, babe. I slowly caress my skirt. Come closer, come and watch me work. Your boy's choosing, you better make a move, babe. Boy comes over here and make a move, babe. I still got my eye on you. Just like I know you see me too. Better keep your eyes up on me. 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 And if you wanna be the one that God's envy, come closer, grind slowly